Oh,
I recognized him.
all right. Let me just.
We don't look like we used to
What's
look
the date?
either.
December 27th. Okay, we are at Mom and Dad's house again, December 27th, 2014. And just going to take a couple minutes to pick their brains on things that they remember in life. Maybe even later in life, you know. Hard to remember far back, maybe even, I don't know. We'll see how it flows. So, okay. We got Debbie here and Wayne here. Last time we had Kathy, so it's an interesting perspective now. All right, so tell us what you remember about the, any of the wars, or where you were when some of the significant things in history happened.
Pearl Harbor and stuff.
I can't remember, I was 7 years old. I can't remember exactly where I was, but I remember hearing about it. And I remember going back to school, and that's when we started singing all the patriotic songs. Every day for the whole war, every class, we sang patriotic songs. We sang all the Marines hymn, the Anchors Away, the everything. And that's how come I know them all.
So how old were you then? That
7.
So you were 7. Dad would have been about, what, 13, 14?
What would,
During the war?
My father was still alive. I was probably 13 or 14. My father was an air raid warden.
yeah, we had air raid rodents come to our house.
To do what? Why'd you come to your house?
Made sure all the signs
Well, they had
curtains were
these
closed, but no light was coming
Blackout.
on.
blackouts. And they would come and knock on the door, and I guess if they saw a light, then they'd knock on the door. But I remember them coming and checking up.
Now, you never did have anything that happened, did you?
Well, one night, I remember hearing people say that there was a Japanese plane flying over.
I saw it. I sat on a front porch. I walked
I thought I
looking
remember you saying
to
that.
the south, this airplane, and I saw, then I come close to it.
So it was pretty high. The reconnaissance plane, you think?
I don't know it being so high, just that they were stupid shots.
Oh.
We couldn't kill anybody.
But, everybody was worried about them bombing. And that's the reason we had to do blackouts all the time,
Yeah.
so they couldn't find
At night.
the cities.
So otherwise, we had no disasters or nothing that we got worried,
It was
but
exciting though.
nothing happened.
Well, the whole country was pretty, politically charged, I would imagine, I think.
The whole country was very upset and very united. And that's what I don't understand about what's happening now, why everybody is so... The only ones that probably weren't happy were the Japanese that were living here, because they put them in,
Concentration camp.
no, what's it called?
Internments.
Internment.
Yeah,
Internment camps.
internment camps.
We call it
We had
concentration camp.
a Japanese boy that was living with us. He was we had a boarding house, and so he was living there, and mother loved him. He was just the nicest boy, and then he had to leave and go to that internment camp.
Yeah, that was
not good.
Do you know where he had to go?
I don't
Where he
know.
ended up?
Was it any Japanese American that
Yes.
was called to do that, had to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every-
Any
Everyone,
blood?
all
What
of
it
it.
was, half and half?
Any
or-
Japanese, I don't remember the details about it, but I know all the Japanese had to leave.
It was new, nobody knew what to do, so they just, the Japanese are enemies, so put them in camps.
And
We
we lived,
realize now it was a dumb thing to do, but at that time,
Yeah,
who knew?
well, the whole country was different when it came to race relations.
absolutely different.
I think of the,
Now we invite them in.
Yeah,
And we can't profile.
well, it was only in the 50s where we really got, the blacks, we were changing that around,
Civil rights.
civil rights movement.
Now we're going back.
What do you remember about the civil rights movement?
I remember going to Uncle Marion's for my cousin's wedding, and Aunt Dorothy hired a black girl, a woman, to come in and help with the the cleaning and ironing and, you know, all the work that had to be done. I remember sitting in the basement and she was ironing and she was telling me all about it. And she told me that she couldn't sit at the front of the bus. She always had to be back and the different things. I felt so sorry. I just wanted to cry.
So they were doing that in Los Angeles? Area.
That was in Washington,
That's in
D.C.
Oh, Washington, D.C.
Well, Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, in Los Angeles, I don't remember one thing against the black and white. They're all the same to me, like. And there was no such thing as prejudice in LA, as I know of.
Oh, I do. I remember when I was in kindergarten, there was a little black kid, and we got little Easter baskets, you know. And then after school, all these rotten kids just came up and were mean to him and knocked his basket out of his hand. And I just was so, but I
Yeah, I've never
was too
seen
shy
any of
to
that.
do anything or say anything.
Well, you had Latino groups, and didn't you have black groups and Latino groups in the schools?
Oh,
As
yeah.
far
Oh,
as
the
gangs.
Pachucos,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Pachucos, there's the Latinos and the Pachucos, kind of a different breed.
What were the Pachucos?
Oh, they wore these big, long coats,
Zoot suit.
big lapels, and
Were they Hispanic?
Yeah, were they-
there was Hispanic, yeah. But then there was the Pachuco and then the Mexican. They were kind of different. Then they killed a couple of sailors,
Oh, they did?
and so the sailors, they gave them liberty one night. I was working at the pharmacy. Man, the sailors went up and down LA streets and just took every Pachuco out and beat them and put them in the center of the street.
Really?
Then they come out and they got into East LA, where my pharmacy was. I was right close to LA, the Lorena Pharmacy. And they come in, we already closed the door before they broke all the fixtures and stuff.
Wow.
When they went across the street to bowling alley, that was the end of that.
Didn't you say they did come crashing through the door though and took down the card display?
They what?
Didn't they come in and they knocked down the card display?
Well, they knocked a few things off of the display we had, yeah. I was just accidentally, it wasn't, we hurried and closed the door before it got too bad. But that was fun. I mean, interesting, I shouldn't say fun.
Well, they
Enjoyed those
now,
things.
Now you, the Tuttle Street, wasn't that, and at the time, did you say that was kind of like out of the city quite a ways, and then didn't the Latins move up into that area? And
Well, our area was all Armenian. We had the
Oh.
Armenian rubbish trucks. That's how we got our gasoline during the war. We had some good Armenian neighbors. They had plenty of gas for their rubbish trucks. And all we had to do was go to a certain gas station and get gas. They told us, they have friends.
So really, California, for the most part, wasn't involved in the civil unrest. That was more.
Well, I imagine they were, but we were not. I was a child,
Yeah.
so I wasn't involved in any of that. But I did feel sorry for what I saw.
You saw the first hand. She told
Yeah.
you firsthand.
She did. I just sat there by the ironing board. She was ironing, and she just talked and just tell me all the things, and just I felt so sad.
What was Grandma Bagley's, viewpoint on that? She was.
She
You
didn't
were-
care who they were. Grandma Bagley was not prejudiced,
Yeah. No, I couldn't imagine.
but Grandma Bagley she was a little fighter too. I love her.
My father, for some reason, didn't like Jews. There we had a neighbor, a Jewish family moved in. They were the nicest. Broke his heart that they were so nice, because he really liked them.
He didn't want to like them.
But just he didn't like they always thought the Jewish were always trying to cheat. They called you a Jew if you're cheating,
Oh,
And
man.
so he just had a dislike for it. I don't know the reason. Never did discuss it. But then the Foxes moved in. They were really nice people, and he
Yeah.
really liked them. That broke his heart. But he could like a Jew.
Did you guys lose anybody in the war? I mean, lots of
My
people-
cousin.
World War II?
My cousin, he was a paratrooper, and landed on his head with his throat getting open.
Oh, no.
Oh, gee.
Who,
That was
okay, your
Leonard.
cousin who? How was?
Leonard, Aunt Vivian's son, what's her name?
Osborne.
Osborne. Leonard
Oh.
Osborne.
And then she had Dale.
Well, Dale was, Dale was
He was
later.
during the Korean War.
Was that a Korean War?
Yeah, because he was taken to
He
Saigon.
was a prisoner.
No, not Saigon. Yeah,
Then
was
That
that?
would have been the Vietnam War.
Vietnam. That was it.
The Vietnam War, you may have lost some people.
And that was
That was Dale.
his brother, the same family. She'd had two of them.
So
Okay,
Dale's
so Dale
still
came
alive.
back, right?
Dale's
Dale
still
came
alive,
home,
yeah.
But he
he
was
was-
in the Hanoi Hilton,
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, tell us about that.
for
What
about
was that all
7
about?
years.
Yeah, tell us
Tell
more
us
about that.
Well,
that
there was a book, darn it, and I don't know whatever happened to my book. I had a copy of it where he told a story and it was printed out. But he was there for 7 years, and he was in bad shape. He was ejected, the plane ejected, he was ejected out of the plane, and it broke his back.
Mm.
And he was really, I guess some people found him and they took care of him, but he was mostly out of it for those years.
One of our kids
And
followed
they
him
couldn't
real
torture
close.
him because he just passed
Oh.
out.
Who was it, Becky or Kathy there?
What?
We're real close to Dale. She really followed us. One of them followed
I
us.
don't know.
So this is Dale Osborne,
Dale Osborne.
and that's Laurel's?
No, Vivian.
No, that was
Vivian.
Aunt Vivian's, her, another son of hers,
Vivian, what was Vivian's husband's name? Can you
Osborne.
remember? Osborne, but
Uncle, I think, I know it,
it'll
but
come later.
not funny, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can find it.
Middle of the night.
Got a picture
Try
of
in the
it?
middle of the night, you can call us at 2 a.m., okay?
Oh, I don't remember if we talked about this last time, but what was your homes like, when you were growing up? Mom, you lived with Grandma Bagley.
Yeah, I loved my house
Now, why were you living with Grandma Bagley?
because she
A little
got
house.
custody of me.
That was a little house.
No, that was that big brick house.
Well, you're talking about the little one, I mean.
No,
Yeah, the
anything you
little
want.
one where
The only one you'd know me, the little one.
one where I killed that little chick, that's all I
Didn't
remember.
kill the little chick, you wrung the little chick's neck.
Oh, where was that?
And it was at Grandma Bagley's house, where Vivian had
Oh,
the little
yeah.
straight off to the side.
Uh-huh.
And I'd always heard the term wring a chicken's neck, so I thought, it's just, I didn't think much about it, so I took one of those chicks and went,
I don't remember that.
Kill the chicken.
I never told you that.
No, you didn't. I never heard
I was
you.
horrified that I ever did that.
Oh, shame on you.
Yeah, I was horrified.
That poor baby chick.
But that house, I remember that house growing up. Tell us about that whole situation. Why were you in custody why was your grandmother in custody of you?
Well, my mother wasn't really able to take care of me all that great. So she got custody of me. And what it was I think Evelyn was going to let me go with Uncle West. Uncle West wanted to take me in the worst way.
Tell us who Uncle West was.
Uncle West was my father's brother.
Wilson.
They were-
Wes Wilson.
Yeah, they were deaf, and so she found out that they wanted to take me because Evelyn couldn't do it, and so then she got custody, and Uncle West did not like Mom for all those
Vivian?
years because he figured that she'd stolen me.
He wanted
You're
to
talking
raise
about
you.
Grandma
He
Bagley.
wanted me to grow up with his family.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
He was a nice guy.
Nice.
Well,
and if
well,
I'd have gone
no,
with him,
no,
I'd have
yeah.
known how to sign better.
Yeah, that was the side of the family that had
Yeah,
deaf
Uncle
children.
West was deaf.
Where did he live?
He lived in, I don't know where he lived at that time, but I know he lived out in the desert
temple area,
someplace.
the LA temple
And he
area.
had a chicken farm
What?
out there. And then they
Oh, I
moved
thought
into
they moved, that's right, that's afterward. He lived on Lancaster.
Lancaster, that's where it was. Yeah. But anyway, when I start to tell you about that,
Why you lived with Grandma?
oh, that's why I lived with her. But we had this really neat house, this big brick house, and had the stairways you went down. And I used to go down the stairways on my stomach.
Were they carpeted?
I don't think so. I just went down. Choo, choo. It was very fun.
Is that house still around?
Last time we saw it was just not too many years ago. And they had, my yard where I used to chase the trapdoor spiders was gone. But it was this big brick house, and there was 2 vacant lots on both sides. One side had tons of trapdoor spiders, and I used to go out after school and spend my time trapping trapdoor spiders.
We wonder where he gets that.
I loved it. I mean, pull them up, and there's a little family at the bottom.
I'll go hiking on a hike, and then with the boys, with the Boy Scouts or whatever, and I'll take a little stick and I'll torque the web a little bit, shake the web a little bit. I'll say to the boys, "You want to see what's in there?" And I shake it like that, and out there comes spider comes jumping out and scares them all to death.
Now, is that a trapdoor spider?
No, but any spider will do that.
You never have you ever seen
Oh,
a
yeah.
trapdoor spider?
Yeah, we used to have some out here. I thought.
I've done that before.
They got a little lid.
Yeah, they have a little lid.
Yeah, I thought we had them out here. We had something very similar to that out here.
Oh,
in
it
the gully.
probably did. They
Yeah.
now I think they're extinct, but
Well, they make a like a crusty kind of a lid
Yeah.
with the web and the dirt, and then they pop it up.
I could hardly wait to get home from school, so I could go out there and find some trapdoors. And you just look for this little half curve,
Yeah.
and then you lift that up, and then you.
Now, one thing is your father shows up while I'm on my mission. And you didn't know your father, and then very well at all. And
Yeah,
then he
I-
shows up on my mission.
Wait, can we step back just one step and then go back to that?
What?
Do you have an address for that house?
706 Chicago Street,
Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
Oh, that's
706
Grandma.
Chicago Street.
That was
Los
the big
Angeles.
brick house.
They rented it.
And when we went back a few years ago, though, they had put up a big, ugly building on my trapdoor spider lot.
Oh,
And then on the other side was just overgrown, which we used to play Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. That was one too. And there's this little brick house
in between.
between these big buildings. But I would like to go see that some time again and see if it's still there.
Well, that would be
I think
interesting.
this time I would go and ask if they would let me go in and look.
That would be a great thing to do,
It
wouldn't
was,
it?
oh, I had
That'd be
so
fun to
much
do.
fun. Oh, and those, see, we had this boarding house. So we had 2 boys and the Japanese boy, and Grandma Tannehill had a place up there. And so when one of the boys worked at the docks down at the beach. And so he.
Which docks? Which ones were they?
San Pedro, I
San
think.
Pedro? Okay.
And then he would bring home stuff and he'd unload the boats. So he would always bring home stuff, and he brought home some bananas this one time and the big tarantula inside of it.
That's common.
Yeah, and the thing got loose in the house. And we couldn't find it, and nobody would go to bed. And that, by darn, he'd gotten loose in the kitchen. And you know where we found him? About 12 o'clock at night, we found it. We looked at everything we could look at, but we had not looked in the molding. And so Mom says, let's look up there and see in the molding. And there's the second story, the molding around in the bedrooms. And they took a knife and we went around in there. And by darn, they got that thing.
Scared him out.
They didn't scare him out. I think they cut him in half.
Oh.
But for a long time, they put him in a bottle and put him out in the trash. I'd go out there and I'd look.
Okay, so I want to hear the story about your dad showing up, because I was gone during all that period of time. I mean, he shows up while I'm up in Canada, so I never got to meet.
Tell us all
Well,
about
I
that.
knew him.
I was in the
off
But
and
that's
on.
my
The only place we saw him was in the hospital.
grandfather, right?
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
my real grandfather. So I
Yeah.
never got to meet him. Did you meet him, Wayne?
Yeah, I think I did, didn't
He was
He was
down.
in a bed, I would've seen him once.
We
in
went
bed.
down, he was in, when he was in the hospital and he was dying.
Did you get any
Did I
pictures
go
of
help
him or
you a
anything?
blessing or something? I'm sorry.
Yes, I think we did go down and give him a blessing,
Yeah, I was going to give him a blessing before he died.
yeah.
Had you met him before that?
But I had just seen him off and on
Did he
once in a
look like
while
us?
when I'd
Did
be
he-
growing up, I'd see
Did
him.
he have similar features of anybody, you know, from all?
I don't
Anybody take a
remember, it's been
picture?
so long ago.
Nobody took a picture, huh?
He was in the hospital, that's
No,
all.
I didn't want to have a picture of him in the hospital.
I only vaguely remember seeing him
Had you seen him ever before, Dad,
just that one time.
in the hospital? You'd never seen
Didn't,
him?
didn't he look a lot like Uncle West?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
All those
They look
boys
pretty much, they look like
Look.
brothers.
had a resemblance.
Yeah.
And the Wilsons were handsome boys.
So who called you? Well, how did that happen? Vivian called you and said
No,
you showed up?
after they find out. I think the hospital called
I mean,
us.
no, now Vivian was there too, right?
And Vivian, that's a different family.
I'm not Vivian, no, I'm thinking of your sister.
Evelyn.
Lois?
Lois, sorry.
Wasn't, no. Lois, he's not her father.
Oh, that's right.
He's the father of one of your sisters, though.
This is
Shirley.
confusing.
Shirley.
Surely.
Shirley.
And, no, and then, and I
Tell
had-
us about your, okay, we need to go back to, while we're confused about this, tell us about your siblings.
Yeah, I don't get how Lois
Explain how that works.
fits in.
Okay, tell us about your dad and your siblings.
And then we got moved to Dad then.
My mother and father got divorced. My mother married another man and had Lois. My father married another woman and had Shirley. And so I have two half-sisters, but they're not related.
One's from the mother, one's from the
Are
father.
you having problems
Very
One's
figuring
from the
this out?
father and one's from the
Yeah.
mother. But then the father took off, right? The father of your father took off.
Did he
just
raise
disappeared.
Shirley?
For a while, but they had a hard time, and then we were married, and they wanted us to take Shirley. We took her for a while, and she lived with us for a little while.
How old was she?
She was about 11 or 12 when we
Yeah,
had
she was
her.
about. Yeah,
And her parents,
you had
neither
her for
one
a
of
while.
them could take her.
they were having some, I don't know, they were having some kind of a problem, and both of them were deaf, and it's very hard.
Shirley was deaf too?
No, Shirley's not deaf.
The parents.
The
But
parents,
her
the
mom-
second wife was
Yeah, the
deaf.
second wife was deaf.
I don't think I remember Shirley very well.
Well, you were a baby.
Wayne probably
We
was
saw her get together.
I've met her, but I can't remember what she looks like now.
because
You
you were
were
probably about the same
older.
age.
In fact, she used to, no, that wasn't it.
Was it here in this house
Yeah.
No,
that she came and stayed with you?
Yeah.
no, she was on Baskin Street.
Well, she was here too for a little while.
I don't remember that.
So I remember somebody was here that had a son whose name started with a K.
And that was, well then, Katie.
Where was she staying?
um,
We had no
Kevin and
beds.
Keely or Keely?
yeah,
Keely?
Well, Kevin and
Yeah.
Keely we had for a while.
Yeah,
I
and that
remember
was Grandpa Stone's.
Right.
His grandkids.
Oh.
Did they have some drug issues or something like that? So
I think
we
so.
kept them in custody
His
for a while.
parents did,
Yeah.
their
No, I
parents.
don't remember that.
You remember Kevin and Keely being here?
The names I do, but I can't remember the details.
I must have been 10 or so. I remember.
We only had
I
For a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
short
you
while.
did. You helped
I
take
remember
care of
pretty
them.
clearly.
Mhm.
But
But that was Grandpa Stone's children,
well, how was that? Grandpa Stone's kids?
his grandchildren.
His grandchildren, right?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that, but I can't
Yeah.
remember any detail.
They stayed with us about a month, right? Maybe
Yeah,
a
it
month,
seemed like a
two
very
months,
short
Well, maybe a
time.
couple months.
till they got their.
They couldn't, nobody could figure out how and understand, it was Kevin. He was, nobody could understand him, he was the way he talked.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any problem with him. He just said everything with an A at the end of it.
Oh, that's right.
With an
I
A.
remember that. Yeah. Yeah. Everything at the end.
He just added an A.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that.
I do remember that.
I remember the names, that's all I remember.
Yeah, he used to help change your diapers.
Do you remember him?
You know,
Or
that's like-
you helped
I
change his
remember
diapers.
That happened.
Yeah, I remember having to do that, and I
Like
hated that
remember
job.
The speed of
And Keely, you know, we all had our jobs to do and our chore box and responsibilities, and I remember having to, I probably had it just once or something, but
You didn't have
you
it
just
very
don't
often.
forget changing diapers. You're that
Once
age.
is enough.
So that side of the family is a little gray to me, because I don't, it seems like
Okay,
we would
that's
visit.
Dad, okay.
Yeah, that's-
Kevin and Keely are from Dad's side because it's Grandma Stone.
Mhm.
It's Grandma
Yeah.
Stone's, it's Grandpa Stone's grandkids.
Grandchildren.
Yeah,
Right, okay, so that's different.
But
So
then
go
I'm
back
talking
to,
about the
go back to mom's siblings.
Grandma Bagley and all that kind of stuff. And then I also remember going and seeing Grandma that lost the arm. And
Oh,
she
that was
Grandma
Grandma
John
McCallum.
McCown used to scare me.
1010 West 66th Street.
Because
Los Angeles?
She was a good lady.
she was a good lady, I'm sure, but she looked scary and she had that arm and we'd always have to.
She was a wonderful
And you
girl.
know what?
I'm sure she
I
was.
think that if she had had that arm today, that they would have done something.
Yeah, maybe they could have done it for
I'm
not
some-
sure.
suffered so
I
bad.
bet they would have given her a, changed her arm, given her a, what do you call it?
a prosthetic device.
No. What I
Shoulder,
had.
Oh, a hip replacement.
Shoulder replacement.
Yeah,
Shoulder
replacement, because she was in so much pain. But she was a nurse
Yeah.
growing up,
She was a sweetie.
really.
How well did you know her, Dad? Did you?
Oh,
I
I
wanna
went to
hear-
her wedding.
I wanna hear more about
I
it.
attended my mother's wedding and my grandmother's wedding.
This was,
Okay,
this would have been Grandma
McCown.
Harrison, right?
explain
Before she
to
was
us-
McCowan, is that
Yeah,
right?
explain to us how she
Grandma,
was
she was.
no, McCown was Briggs.
a Briggs.
And then she married a Harrison.
Yeah,
Right, and then she became a McCowan.
yeah.
And, yeah.
This
See,
would fit
both
in.
my grandparents separated.
So tell us about
both
Grandma
sides.
McCown. Tell us about her, because she
About
fits
who?
into a friend of ours. You know Dave Briggs, you met Dave Briggs
Yeah.
on board? He's interested in this stuff too. So how does Grandma McCowan, tell us about her and how she fit in and how,
I want to hear
Oh,
more
she
about
was
that
like-
too.
Oh, she was,
Finish this
how
conversation.
she fits in, she was my
Well-
grandmother,
she's your grandmother?
and my grandfather and her separated.
Which, okay,
And he
your grandmother, whose mother? Your dad's mother?
My dad's mother. That's Grandma McCown.
Okay.
And if you really want to know about what happened, you just need to talk to Kathy. She's been researching that, and she gets really upset with his grandfather.
Why is
Because
that?
he was,
Two-timing her?
yes, he wasn't really good.
Who wasn't good?
Your grandfather Harrison that was married to Grandma McCowan.
Well, he was a good guy. He played a good violin.
I'm sure he was a good guy, but Kathy
lived next
wasn't
door
like
to
him.
us.
Sounds like he was fiddling around.
I don't,
Yeah.
that's something, I don't know the
Yes.
stories of my grandparents' separations. I know my grandmother on my mother's side, you know, they were good friends, but she lived alone and he lived with Mom and Grandma Laurel.
Grandma Stone was like, what, the youngest child, wasn't she?
Yeah,
That's
but
the
11
youngest.
children.
Of 11 children, and they separated?
Her
Grandma
grandparents-
Stone, Grandma Harrison, Lola Leila, her parents separated?
Yeah, Grandma, oh, what do I call her? My mother's mother, Clara.
Mold,
Clara
Clara
Mold.
Mold
Clara
Harrison.
Mold. She lived in a little apartment.
In
And my
where?
right in East Los Angeles.
Okay,
Then my grandfather went from Amarillo to Mom, back and forth. So he lived for us for a while, and they was in Amarillo for a while. And then both, but Grandma Mole was in a little apartment by herself, and she got interested in the Great I Am Church. I remember that.
Oh, she wasn't LDS?
Oh yeah, she was LDS.
Oh.
She believed in church, but she got hung up with, I don't know how serious she got with it. Some Great I Am Church. You know, but I remember they used to come over and darn socks. Grandma, my mother's mother, and then Aunt Fiend Walton, they used to sit and darn socks all day long and string beans, they'd split them and took the stems out.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, I mean,
That's all I can
Take the
remember
strings
about
out
it.
of string
so they were
beans.
older, quite older when you were.
Oh, yeah, they were older.
Now, Grandma McCowan had some interesting stories. Didn't she tell about how she had died and came back to life or something?
Or
like
2 or
that?
3 times.
How does all that fit? I don't remember all those things.
Well, I just, those are only stories that I've heard, but
Did you hear it from her?
no, I don't know where I heard it. But she died, and I think my mother told me these stories. And then they had quarters in her eyes to keep her eyelids open. Mom went, beep. Whoa. So she'd come back to life, and she did that a couple times now, the way I understand them.
Did she ever talk about it? Or she never talked about what she
Never. I didn't
experienced?
talk about it. We had just such a good family. Everything was all, even though grandparents had split up, always got along. Just didn't get married. Didn't want to stay married. I don't know the whole story.
Well, Kathy's read letters, because I took all the stuff and gave it to Kathy.
How'd you have it?
And Grandma Stone.
Grandma Stone's
would give us all kinds of stuff and envelopes and things, and I just got everything together, because Kathy says, "You're doing all the genealogy, there's nothing left for me." I thought, oh yeah. I gave her all the dad's stuff, so she has all of that, and she's gone through the letters, and there was some letters that his grandfather wrote to his wife and told her that he was sorry he treated her. I mean, she's got all that stuff. So that
That'll
was
be interesting to read.
a very fun thing to read, yes.
Hopefully she'll put that on the stories pages.
I don't know whether she will or not.
Yeah.
She's got so many irons in the fire that,
Yeah. So how did you end up at Tuttle Street? I don't know if we covered this or not, but maybe, how did you end up there? Did your dad build that house?
No, there was a little 3-room house, and they bought it when they paid $25 a month payments on it, and then he built onto it and made it like it is now. You know, added a kitchen and a family room, our front room, and just made it a big house. So the kitchen was my bedroom well, the old kitchen was my bedroom. And then Dad was, he was in charge of all the Los Angeles County building maintenance. He was in charge of every building. I used to tell stories about they had to lock him in a jail cell while he worked on the jail, you know. And one time, the shift changed and he's still locked up in jail. To get out. You can't get out, you're a prisoner. I think they're just teasing him. But the test they took for the job, he designed it. I remember it was a kind of it's about yay big, and it had a little backstop and a sink, and they had plaster with a hole in it. You had to patch, then you had tile you had to repair, all in this one little. 11. He had to take a test for 11 occupations.
Oh, wow.
And he got it, and so he was in charge of all the Los Angeles County buildings. Then got sick and never got to enjoy his job for very long, you know. But he used to have some wild stories about the morgue, going to the morgue, and this guy would sit there and have their lunch on the bodies, you know.
Oh. You think he was exaggerating just a little?
No, they just put a sheet over and put their lunch up on the sheet and he'd sit and eating their lunch. It made him sick. The smell was horrible. But he probably exaggerated something. My dad was the mutual president, and he insisted that these kids have a dance every Friday with a band. And
Wow.
the church couldn't afford it, so he'd hire a band for them.
Wow.
And he was all for the kids, I'll tell you. But
He-
he also had a wild side, younger. He drank a little bit, you know. And then one time, they had out here in Colton, they had a big party for all the people who bought cement from the Colton plant, you know. So they served all kinds of whiskey and stuff. He'd come home drunker than a hoot owl. He had to go to the bathroom, so he opens the bedroom door. My mother said, "Bud, grab him!" Well, I had to take him to the bathroom. But then he just idolized Joanne because she was 7 years after me, you know. And he found out that she saw him drunk and he just changed his whole life. That'll never happen again.
Oh, Joanne, so that was, how old was Joanne? I mean, how old was you then?
We were 7 years younger. So she was just a little gal and he just idolized her. And then I found out she saw him drunk. He said, "That's it. Never again."
And your mother was very angry with him.
What?
Your mother was very angry with him.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine so. But then he had an operation about that same time too, and so alcohol didn't taste good to him, and cigarettes didn't taste good to him, and well, he became a good Mormon.
Forced to. He swore a little bit though, didn't he?
In sacrament meeting yet. He gets up, he gets carried away. Damn! From, I can't remember. But my uncle was a bishop. I'm Grandma's brother, Grandma Stone's
Are
brother.
these big wards?
A big ward, the Belvedere Ward, yeah.
Well, they weren't that
What was
big.
his name? What was Grandma's brother's name?
Roy.
Roy Harrison?
Roy Harrison. And he was a bishop. And Vaughn was one of his sons, and Vatia. I can't remember all, I don't know if that's all it was. I can't remember all the names. But Vaughn is Tom and Charlie's father. You know
Oh.
that.
Oh, okay.
I know Tom and Charlie, but I didn't know how they fit
Yeah.
in there.
In fact, we have a lady in our ward right now that her half-sister passed away. And so she went to the funeral, and she was Charlie's wife.
Really?
Charlie remarried because his wife died. And she said, "You know, we're cousins." So she'll call him, "Oh, my favorite cousin," every time we see each other at church. So,
So do you remember growing up in the church and the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
things you used to do? You were always active, right? Your dad
I was
was.
always active. My dad was always active. Even though he drank, he was active.
Now your relationship, before I go into that, your relationship with your father, all your kids, was pretty good, right?
It
Your
was
father-
very good, yeah.
Do you
He
remember?
was
My
a
brother
good
had
father.
problems. My dad was always spanking him and using a razor strap on him. So one time, my brother was so proud of it, you know, with his back, all these big razor strap marks where my dad had beat him, you know. Because him doing something, he deserved it, you know, but I never got spanked. Never. I was always a little boy, nice kid, you know.
Well, you were 14 when he passed away, so you had
I was
some,
only 13 when he passed away.
you were going through a squirrely age there for a while.
But I had a good relation with my dad. He was a really ambitious guy. He could do anything. I mean, that guy was so talented on anything. You name it, he could do it.
That's
Well,
where it
like I
comes
say,
from.
That's where you get it.
That's
He
where you
passed
get it.
11 occupations, you know,
Yeah.
and he was good at all of them. But tile setting was his main deal.
What kind of a personality type was he? Was he easygoing? Was he an uptight personality? What?
Very jovial, if I remember, you know. Just good-natured. Always doing something, having something on his mind, helping people. And he was a good man. Except he had a problem drinking and smoking. Enjoy. In fact, Ruth made up a poem. It was how did that go? Something about.
That's what you ought to do, is get
Oh, dear,
Dad
something about
and
Ruth and
Yeah,
Joanne.
You'd see my father at the corner drinking a bottle of beer, some dumb thing like that. I'll have to get that
Ruth and
poem
get tell
for
you
her.
some really good stories.
But Ruth kind of raised me, because my mother during the war, see, she had a job working swing shift, and Ruth was 2 years older than me, so she would make the meals and everything, you know, and I would destroy them for her. She made a cake one time.
We hear about this from her still. Tell the story, yeah.
I took a little at a time until it was all gone. Oh, gee. But she was a good gal. She was real popular in school. Ruth was. She was a GA commissioner, girls athletic commissioner. I just noticed the other day a picture come up on my computer. She was really a good-looking girl. Good-looking, strangely aged like an athlete, you know. And I don't know what she did, and he asked me, athletic thing. I guess she did. She
If
was
she
good in
was GAA
school.
commissioner,
And I
she
come
was-
along and they expected me to be good. And I was a flunk. But I got passed because of her good grades. Just behave yourself, bud, and I'll pass you, okay? That was the story of my life.
Leave the girls alone and I'll let you pass.
Yeah, that was my bookkeeping.
That was always a problem for you, though, wasn't it? Leaving the girls alone, huh? You
Yes.
liked the girls, didn't you?
I enjoyed friendship.
That's a nice way to put it.
But when you're ugly, you go for anything you can get.
Gosh, I don't know where to go next. There's so many questions I have.
I had a question, one that came to my mind while we were talking. I think it was one of your relatives was buried alive.
Oh,
yeah.
that
What
was,
that
when Grandma Tannehill died, she lived with us and she had this house that I mentioned. It was her brother-in-law. He was, her sister married a Tannehill. She married a Tannehill and he married a Tannehill. They were brothers.
Two brothers married two
Yeah.
sisters.
Yeah, and
That messes up the genealogy.
her sister died, and he married another woman. Actually, she was the woman that was come in to help take care of the house, while his first wife was alive. And one night, the cistern, the lid to the cistern is, I think, like a well where they kept the water, and it had been removed, and his first wife fell into the cistern and drowned. And so then he married the woman, and they went to Canada. They moved to Canada. And then he died, and this woman insisted that he had to be buried the day he died.
I
And
got a
this
phone
is the
call.
story.
Hello.
Finish telling the story and we'll
Yeah,
catch
well-
him up on it.
Anyway, she just insisted he had to be buried that day. Just be buried. And the ground was frozen and they really had a hard time. And so years later, they went to dig up the grave and put him in a cemetery when they finally got around to it. And it was one of the those kinds, in those days they had caskets where half of the casket was glass,
Yeah.
so you could see
Oh,
the
really?
base. So you could, they could close the casket and you could still view the body,
Oh, wow.
face and the torso. And he was all twisted and twisted, and they figured he had had a stroke, and that she had insisted that he be buried, and that he had not been dead and came back. You know, there's a little story about how they used to bury people with bells, with the string on their finger with bells,
Oh,
so that if they weren't really dead, they could pull the bell.
will somebody monitor the bell?
Yeah, people would listen, and then they would dig them up again, because there's no way of knowing. And so when Grandma Tannehill died, she had a letter. She wrote a letter, and I got it. And she said, she insisted that she be embalmed. She wanted her body,
Dead.
she wanted to be dead.
Yeah.
She did not want to be buried, and it must have just preyed on her mind. So that was the story about that, which you missed.
Do you guys have any phobias, like, things you're afraid of or whatever, but influenced by some things like that?
No,
Not afraid of snakes or anything?
I hate snakes.
You lived through a whole bunch of them.
Must love
You're the one that
spiders.
gave me that phobia.
Must love spiders since you always look forward to.
No, I don't like spiders. I just like trapdoor spiders.
Brady's a good transit down in
Yeah.
the airplane.
Yeah, tell us that story. I heard about the you did tell us that one, the
I
lunchbox.
think I just
Sorry.
on the other story.
I remember you bringing pigeons home from from work.
Pigeons.
Yeah, you had those guys climb up high into the rafters and bring me home some pigeons, because I was interested in pigeons.
I remember there were pigeons in our rafters.
There are lots of pigeons in your rafters down there.
How was your adult life, maybe? You worked at Griffin Wheel Company.
Well, I started out at Lorena Pharmacy when I was 13. My brother worked there ahead of me, and I think he went into service, and then
What'd you do there?
what did I do there?
What'd you do at Lorena
I
Pharmacy?
was a soda jerk.
So you were a soda jerk?
Salesperson. And I used to like to experiment. You know, I'd have, like one time, I put out a display of a product, I can't remember what it was, and then I put the identical product at a lower price. They undoubtedly would buy the higher price. It's identical, same product. And then during the war, you couldn't get candy. So I saved up my candy, my box of candy, and I thought, I'm just gonna put them out someday. And so I just put a whole big display of candy. You know, I couldn't sell a candy bar, because they thought it was all, before they come and buy, got any candy, they'd buy up all they could get because it was ration. You know, we're not ration, but we just couldn't get it. So I put this big display and then I couldn't sell it, because they thought, yo, we can get that anytime we want. People are weird. I used to love to just see what people do, you know.
Yeah.
They pay for the high price stuff, and if you have an abundance of stuff, they won't buy it. But if it's short, gotta have it.
That's interesting. So then
Nothing's changed.
I can't remember if we talked about
Marketing.
your story about coming up here. We did talk about your
Oh
wedding
yeah, a
last
billion
time.
times. I'm sure you got that story
Yeah.
a billion times.
Well, how about this? How about the ward and everything growing up? You know, you still have friends from early childhood, like when I was still growing up in the ward.
Are you talking about
Well, we
here or
had
Belvedere?
18 people at our 50th wedding anniversary. That was at our wedding. Well, that's a pretty good.
But they're gone.
Who are you still close to now? You still Christensen's?
Most of
No.
them.
You're
six
talking about a
Ellsworth.
different group. He's talking about Belvedere Ward.
Oh, Belvedere Ward.
That's what they're talking about.
Because we had, well,
Well, it's both.
Wayne was
He
there.
was
when
married in
we saw
Belvedere Ward,
Bob.
but the
was
50th
fun to see
anniversary is up
him.
here.
And that was an interesting thing on my part, because I was dating, all right, there was Sister McCarver, and she had 2 boys and 2 girls, Mary and Martha, and Bill and Brian. And so I was dating Bill, and he was killed in Korea.
Oh, that's the Bill.
That's the Bill. And then
How much were you dating? I mean, were you how old were you? And I mean, did
Well,
he
I
leave-
got
did
married
you-
on my 17th birthday, so I was
Yeah.
16 when I was dating.
when you were
when I was
dating
going
him,
out with him.
and it was serious when he went to Korea?
It was, no, not particularly, but I think he got serious when he was there. Because the last letter I got from him, he said, I want to come home and go on a mission and get married. And
So I'm
would have
still the
loved to have
competition.
done that.
Well, that's a long way. You know, that's
He was 19.
come home, go on a mission. That's 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was
That was a long
nothing,
time.
nothing then.
Plus, she
you know.
still thinks about it, I'm sure.
But he was, that's how when he got over there into the war, that's what came to his mind. Anyway, he was the boy that they had up there they had his picture. Somebody had tinted it and made it it's a beautiful picture of him. But he was killed over there. And then, what did we start
So
saying?
you were talking about him. And his
Okay, you were talking
your
about
friends.
McCarver.
Oh, yeah. Then, Martha was my girlfriend at school. And Mary was she was a little bit older. She's the one that married Bob Hayes. But she wasn't married at the time I was going to Belvedere Ward. And Bob was telling me that she was going to go to nursing school and become a nurse. And she had all of her things planned. And Bishop Holshoff went and said, we're going to call you on a stake mission. So Mary, she accepted the call, and she's the one that went and taught Grandma Bagley the gospel. when she was on her stake mission. And I hadn't realized that, because I was married and gone, and I didn't know what was going on down there. I was too busy with my babies. And so I just found out that she's the one that taught Grandma Bagley the gospel. And Grandma Bagley joined the church, and she would play. I found programs and things where she played the piano. She played in Relief Society, she played the piano, and she played for other things.
So you joined the church, Dad baptized you, so like Grandma Bagley had joined the church when?
Grandma Bagley joined the church a couple months after I did,
Oh, after you did a couple
Yeah.
months, okay.
after Mary got taught her the gospel.
So you were the part member that brought them to your mother,
Probably,
or your grandmother?
yeah. And then, but then, see, I was married and gone. And so then that's when Mary went in there. And,
Yeah, but
and then Bud baptized her.
you introduced you introduced that generation to the church.
Yeah.
And you got introduced to the church, how? It was before Dad, right?
Because I was invited to church by my girlfriends.
You were invited to church. Were they all members? A big part of them?
Big, yeah. I kind of hung around with the church group. And so they just invited me to church, and I went to church, and Ruth was the, what did they call us in
Junior
those
girls.
days? Junior girls.
Cleaner girls.
No, not Gleaner girls, junior girls.
Well, Cleaner's the older ones.
But I wasn't the older one.
Okay.
I was still 16. So, but she was our teacher, Ruth Ford
Oh.
was my teacher in Mutual. She was a fun person.
I called Ruth the other day.
She doing
Still
okay?
doing good, yeah.
She's, I'd love to get her to sit down.
She's a fun girl.
She's
That's-
sharp too.
She is very sharp.
She remembers.
Something's making a noise.
They got garbage guys.
Garbage truck. And she was saying, what was she telling me about? She says, well, I don't cook very much anymore. But says, Marilyn doesn't cook. She has to go in there and sits down. And she goes back and forth. And Ruth says, well, I don't cook very much either. She goes to one of her granddaughter's houses on
Lauren's
Sunday.
wife, every Sunday he goes to her house, and she sends enough food home to last her 3 days, because I don't have to cook anymore. So it sounds like our family. Go to your house, I bring enough food to last me a long time. Go to Kathy, I bring enough food to last a long time. And I've got so many Tupperwares that we don't know who belongs to what.
What was your favorite callings in the church?
Favorite callings? Well, I enjoyed my probably executive secretary was the most fun. 'Cause-
This one you currently have.
well, I had it twice now. And I've been, I'm going on 9 years now.
In this call.
Did you like it when you were young men's president?
Well, I enjoyed that. Yeah, I was young men's president several times. Jim Katie and I used to trade off about every 2 years. He would be young men's president and I'd be young men's president. Well, I enjoyed all my callings actually. In fact, I even enjoyed my calling when I was genealogy coordinator. But we did it so different then that I'm lost now. And then I was 11-year-old scoutmaster. I enjoyed that. That was fun. Yeah.
Did you enjoy your service as a 70?
That was weird. I enjoyed it, but it was. Marion G. Romney set me apart as one of 7 presidents of 70, and then I didn't do any missionary work after that. Seemed like I was always on a mission until they made me a 7 president of 70, and I did no more missionary work.
But you had to go around and speak in
Yeah,
different
we had to
places.
speak in different wards. You know, that was great assignments. Victorville.
Was that like so that was like a area
Uh-huh.
calling, so you travel
Oh yeah.
the area. Would you go out of the area? Would you go?
No, we was in our stake. We
Our
stayed in
stake
our
was so big.
But Victorville was our stake
Oh, wow.
back then.
But he had to. One time we took all the kids and piled them in the car because he had an assignment up in Lucerne Valley, a speaking assignment.
That was in the state?
That was in this stake. So we just took all your kids up there and went to Lucerne Valley, and they didn't have a church building. They just had it was a house was somebody's.
Bishop's home,
The bishop's home.
our branch president.
I don't know.
Oh, Becky lived there then. That was in, where Becky, what's the other town?
Newberry Springs.
Newberry Springs, that was Newberry Springs.
Was that in Newberry? Well, that was Barstow. But I know it was Lucerne Valley,
Well, Newberry Springs, Lucerne. Where's Lucerne Valley?
up in the mountains a little bit further.
I don't know. I think that's what it was
But
though.
he was going, we had to go out there a lot.
Huh.
This was a big, big
So
state
that was a
when we
challenging
moved
call.
here.
Then then I spoke in San Bernardino Ward, Amy Fearson's temple, I called it. But there in the
Ninth
fifth,
Street
the fifth
building.
ward, the pulpit was real high, and you're up there off this pulpit. They finally sold that church to the Baptists. But that was the weirdest church.
And they had stained glass window
Yeah, and
in
that's
the
in the
back.
temple now.
with Joseph Smith and
Well, the one that's in the temple.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and right inside the front door.
Oh,
right
right.
beside the front door, that was in that building. They took it out of the building and put it in the Pacific building over on Pacific Avenue. And then they put it in a basement or someplace, stored it. And that's where they found it. Where the church found it and brought it out and fixed it up.
We lived in 5 stakes and never moved.
Oh, okay, yeah, you've seen some big growth up here. How many states do we have here in Yucaipa? We have one stake in Yucaipa now.
One stake in
How
Okay.
many
the
wards?
We got,
10 in the state.
how many wards we got, Wayne?
Got 5 Yucaipa, Fanning, Beaumont, San Antonio. This is 8.
In the Spanish branch,
Well, that's
What's
the
the
same
Spanish
thing,
ward
it's not a
now?
ward.
Yeah.
It's a ward now.
So,
And when we moved up here, there was one baby in the ward up on First and B, and then there were you guys. You were the baby, because I had Becky after I was up here.
how many were in the ward when you guys moved up here?
Well, I'm trying to remember. There were just a few families
Up at the building up there?
up on B
I
Street.
remember Ray
It's not
Elder was
personal.
inactive, and we were trying to get him active. We used to plan different things around him to get him to come to church. No, he's real active now.
Good job.
Still active, yeah.
Yeah, we had this really good young marrieds.
They're real good young
Party.
married group.
It was fun. We had lots of fun.
Yeah, who were they? Who were they?
There was Holcombs and
Tolmans.
Katie's and Tolmans and
Browns.
Ellsworths?
Ellsworths and
Browns.
Browns,
Strickers?
Strickers.
Sanders.
Yeah, we
No,
just
probably forgetting
we'd
some.
all get together and have parties and do
Regans.
things.
Reagans.
We had a good time.
Yeah, but all dying out now.
So
I'm
Mom-
next.
Mom, what was your favorite calling?
My favorite calling, I love being a den mother.
Agreed.
The first time.
That's amongst the most fun of anything.
It is fun because you get to do all these little fun things.
Well, that was with your kids too. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
I seem to always remember you guys involved in our lives as you were in your callings, which was really
Yeah.
nice timing.
We had a good group of kids, we really did.
And that went on for a long time. That was like 9 years.
11 years I was Cub Master.
Were you really?
Well, he was cub master when I was den mother, so.
That's when we were little,
Uh,
and then you went into the mutual when we were older.
uh-huh.
So they were really pretty good about.
We broke every rule in the book and the Cub Master program worked out great. The church said, we said, okay, if the parents don't involve, your kids can't come. That's a no-no in the church.
Oh, yeah.
But it sure worked.
We
Yeah,
did. We had big parties.
you had big groups
Oh,
too. You
I,
had-
s-
Yeah.
I have those videos of the things you guys did. You know, with that, like that rocket ship.
Yeah.
It was fun. A lot of kids talk about that still.
But we did, but I remember our Halloween parties were really fun.
Oh, bad.
We had, up at B Street, we had that whole cultural hall full of people. Cub Scout parents. And we had a coffin. Jack Mosier was in the coffin.
We really paid his saxophone. We went to Colton Dance that
Now
way.
that was the Young Marys, that wasn't the Cub Scouts.
Oh, well.
But then with the Young Marys, we all got together, we went down, they had these stake dances. And so we went down to stake dances and everybody dressed up as ghouls. Black things.
Jack Moser in a coffin.
We carried the coffin and somebody was playing When the Saints Come
Ray-
Marching In and we went around the whole.
Ray on the saxophone.
I remember playing the States Come Marching In, but I think that was for a road show.
That was it.
That was
It was,
road show.
it was an award.
Yeah.
I remember in the building in Person B was down in the basement under the stage. They had a nice haunted house thing going on.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that basement. That's where we stored all the tables. Every single week, when I'd go up there and we'd had to set up for primary, I had to shove those tables through the thing up into the cultural hall so we could set up tables for primary. Oh, that
Oh,
was
you had to
horrid.
push them up from the basement.
Yes, that was horrid. That was really bad.
Now, that wasn't built as a church building, was it? Didn't you guys, did they just buy that building?
No, they built
They
it.
built it for a church building?
Just before we got here.
Yeah, the Kreutzers were, she was always telling me how she helped put the roof on.
Oh, oh, I didn't know that.
I remember Wayne's first day at priesthood. We're driving up there and we're up in the middle of town and Wayne says, Dad, what is petting? Here we
Gotta
go.
get this on film.
What do you know already? Oh, it says in the street, petting, pedestrian crossing. Oh, I'm gonna go through this big explanation. Luckily, I said, well, what do you know already? Oh, it says petting on the street.
So how did we, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't talk about this one, but how did you introduce that subject to all of us?
I don't even remember.
Let's not talk about it.
I remember the stories.
I remember a couple stories I want clarified. Something about a rabbit and putting Wayne into the bedroom. Now explain that one to me.
Putting rabbit with Wayne.
Mom knows
Mom's
exactly what I'm
laughing.
talking about.
I'm not gonna tell that one.
Yes, you
I don't
are.
remember that.
No, I'm not.
All right, then I gotta tell it. You got, I'll get it wrong. But you just put a rabbit in the bedroom.
2 rabbits.
Two rabbits. It was Wayne, and let them do their thing, and then
I don't
went in
remember.
for the explanation. I guess that's about all I remember about it. I'm just putting it together in my head.
I never heard
Mom,
this
you know the
before.
story. But then I
That's
also,
what it says.
honestly, I remember you guys basically saying, because I raised rabbits and knew all about their cycles and everything by the time you finally sat me down.
Well, Wayne says, it was bad, he just said, but how did they do it?
How did they do
I said, Wayne, you just saw it. I couldn't see how they did it.
I don't remember this at all. I don't remember hearing about this.
What's your memories, Wayne?
I don't remember it.
I don't remember
I must have
that.
figured it out, I got a bunch of kids.
This is new to me.
Well, then you got that book for us to browse through up here on the corner shelf. The old,
Is it still there?
I'll bet it is.
What book's that?
You had some medical book with these pages, you know, the
Well, I must.
Clear layover pages?
Claire layover pages.
There
so you
must,
see
your
all
mother
the-
must have raised you.
So then you just, my whole introduction to that was, well, you have rabbits, right? You know? I go, yeah, Mom, I know all about it. I know the cycle. I understand that. The other day I was raising rabbit babies. So the rabbits were a theme. Sorry.
So, but,
Yeah, we should have gone that direction.
One guy I think I remember Kathy, when she used to make her wear a skirt 2 inches above the knee, you couldn't put any shorter.
Yeah.
That's
As she
hard.
walked out the door, she'd roll them up, you know. So I bawled her out one day, and she said, well, why do we have to have it that way? I said, Kathy, I don't know. The prophet said so. And that was all I had to say. She was good after that.
Oh.
That was the best ever happened to me. I didn't have to do
it
no
was so
explaining.
nice to be able to put it on the prophet. That's all.
Those were hard years because society was so, I mean, like it is now.
You're still
I
struggling.
mean, they still struggle, but I mean, it was definitely short skirts and
Oh, yeah.
you couldn't
mini
buy
skirts
long
came in.
skirts, you couldn't
Yeah.
do anything. Everybody was wearing those. So I can understand the problem.
So do you think we're way worse off in today's world?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
What's the biggest difference?
We're wondering how you're gonna make it through.
Drugs and stuff. We didn't have drugs.
Well, we had drugs in the, you know,
Not
60s.
that much.
and-
Not like it is today. Never had marijuana. I never even heard of marijuana until just not too long, you know, just
Yeah.
recently with this generation.
Now it'll be legal probably at some point here soon.
Well, sure.
Well, it's
Colo-
already
Colorado
legal
is legal.
in San Francisco.
Yeah, California's just, it's just a matter of
Down
time.
to the dog.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't have any of that.
But I think staying close to church, you're kind of immune, you don't see all this. Or you see it, but it don't affect you. You know?
What were your biggest challenges you felt, you know, growing with us in our generation here? You know, growing up with us,
Just
raising
trying,
us.
Raising children.
just trying to survive.
Was there just
I don't
a lot
remember
of
having
work?
any
I
problems.
can't
with it. We had a
believe-
good family.
Yeah, we did, but it's just, there's so much, and I was so involved. They had me so involved. I mean, there was a time that I was Relief Society president, primary. I was working in the primary, and I was gospel doctrine teacher all at one time.
Wow.
And then there was one time we didn't have enough den mothers, and I was den mother to 2 dens to keep, just to keep them going, so we could have meetings and stuff. It was just, there was a mission field almost up here.
And I was working all kinds of shifts, so I wasn't home half the time.
So it was
Do
busy.
you, when did you stop working shifts? I remember you waking up a few times, you know, because you were working later shifts. I mean, explain the shifts, but also waking you up and feeling just awful that we woke you up. That must have been brutal. And how
It
long
was
did you
brutal.
have to do that?
For a long-
Well, I was only on a shift for a week. I was on one shift for a week, and then another
No,
shift.
it was a
for
month.
It was a
A
month.
month, was it? Oh,
Wow.
whatever it
Worse.
was. Yeah, just a month each way.
Explain the shifts.
The what?
Explain the shifts. You had what hour to what hour?
Well, morning shift was 8 to 4.
Day shift.
Afternoon shift was 4 to midnight, and midnight to 8
And then graveyard was from midnight to 6.
to 8 in the morning.
8? Okay.
And
then
you did that for how long?
13 years. Then I was foreman. Then I had all days till I was there 26 years.
So when you did 13 years, how old was I, for example? Well,
Oh, jeez.
how old were you?
I don't know.
Because you and I are 29 years apart, so.
I don't know.
You got that figured out, huh?
So you
Well,
came up to Ukaipa
I
what
came up here in
year?
57.
So 57 plus 13.
Yeah. So whatever that is.
1970. That's when I was 3 years before I was a
Well,
sophomore.
you were still working Griffin Wheel when I got home from my mission, because
You worked there.
I got to work the graveyard shift too.
That's right. Oh,
Lucky
yeah.
you.
I worked there for about 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
That's good money for a kid.
I didn't have any other
For
plans.
my first job, I made 25 cents an hour
At where? At the
at the pharmacy.
pharmacy?
And then I got a job making rakes and hose. That was a part-time job, I mean, a piecework, and I could make 6 cents an hour. And then I got a job working right alongside my uncle at 97.5 cents an hour. And got Globe Oil Tool. And then what I do, then I went on a mission, I guess. I went in the service.
You didn't work at Globe before you went on your mission.
I know, before I went in the service even.
That was after you were married. Globe.
Oh, Globe, I don't mean Globe. Sperry Flour, General Mills. Sperry Flour, General Mills. I worked there for 97.5 cents an hour. Then I got off my mission. I worked for Mel Carter for a year. That's where I got interested in electrical work. And then I went to Globe Oil Tool. That's when we lived just down the street from it. And then I went there to here, Griffin Wheel. So that's my story of my life.
Well, what would you do differently?
What did I do different?
What would you do differently if you had it? Would you say no to some of those callings?
Callings? No, I've enjoyed all my.
Yeah, so.
I don't know. I don't know.
They were all in the proper order,
might
proper
have.
place.
I used to have to take, like if Becky gets sick, this one time she had the flu and she was sick. And I had to take her because we didn't have many people and I was primary president. So I just took her, put her up in the choir loft and blankets and pillow and stuff and put her to bed up there while we had primary. We had to do those kinds of things.
And it was a different day of the week, it was like.
It was on,
It was
yeah, you
longer.
go, it was Wednesday. Tuesday was Relief Society, Wednesday was primary. They did it so that they would just warm the building one day. We had Relief Society in the morning and Mutual was at night, and then the next day was primary. And so they didn't, and then they could turn off the heat. So they didn't have to warm up the building anymore.
Okay.
But those were hard days, hard years. But you lived through them.
So you wouldn't do it differently? With your wisdom now, you wouldn't
I
go
don't-
back and do things
I
differently?
don't know because I can't remember if you have to
Gutted it
take
out.
things as you go.
I talked to gospel doctrine class for a while, and my spelling was so bad.
We had a big class and they came just so they could see how we could misspell the words on the board.
Because I couldn't spell for a dog.
That was very funny. Salyers were always saying,
Yvonne says, I used to go just to see your spelling. Of course, one time I went up to town and here's she and Dick. They're sitting in this restaurant and they've got drinking coffee, you know. Well, here I come up, she puts her coffee cup in front of Dick, you know. Dick, you sure drink a lot of coffee. Oh. Anyway, made him a promise that if he would, well, I think President Bishop Christian made him that promise.
mm-hmm.
That if you live the word of wisdom, you know, you'll be blessed and you'll join the church. Sure enough, he give up his coffee and, oh yeah, give up your coffee. And he did, he gave up his coffee and joined the church. Or he made the promise to Yvonne
Yeah.
that if Dick would just give up his coffee, that he would join because she wanted him to join church. And it sure worked out.
So I have a picture
Mhm.
of you taking the Salyers to the temple.
Yeah, we went with them to the temple.
Yeah.
Oh, we also took a trip up to Utah together. We had two couples. We had the Volkswagen when we first got it. And so we went up to Utah. It was very, 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 very.
The same Volkswagen you owned?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
what you bought, that was a '68 Volkswagen. You bought a brand new in '68?
No, I
We
didn't.
bought it from it was repo at the bank.
Yeah, Maury Millette.
Maury Millette was
But only been a year old or so, right? 'Cause
Yeah, it wasn't very
so that
old.
was like '69?
But we got it, no money down, it was, Maury Millette was the bank president.
Well, I drove that in high school, so that was like a brand new car for me. Right.
Well, you put a new engine in it, I think, because
Yeah, what
we didn't
happened?
give it to you till the engine blew out.
We had driven it for quite a while.
And that was your wedding present, I think.
So didn't
Great.
Kathy drive it and blow out the engine? That was a new car. That
Kathy,
shouldn't
yes,
have, that
Kathy
shouldn't have
did,
blown out.
because when Wayne left on his mission, Kathy always went with Wayne, every place he went. And she went to young adults and everything with him. And so then he was on his mission, and she was lost. She just didn't know what to do, so she just decided, this is carried through. I'm gonna just do it myself. And so she got that car, and she started going to all of the activities that she'd gone with Wayne. Just because she was not gonna be left out. And that's exactly the same attitude she's got now.
Well, wait a minute, that car was only a couple of years old.
Yeah, but she
Why
took,
would that blow up like that?
probably because she probably blew the engine.
Did it run out of oil?
I don't know.
I don't remember
I
how
can't
it
remember
happened.
how it was.
If you drive it without oil, that's a pretty much a sure bet it's gonna die.
I don't know why it went out, I don't know.
That was a new car. pretty new car.
Yeah,
That's a
we had-
Volkswagen. You see
we had-
Volkswagen still on the road.
But we had driven it for a while, like several years. And
That
then,
that was a good, it lasted a long time. That was, I think it's just old age.
You've had some sweet cars. You had that Mustang.
That was.
That was a sweet car.
Had to
We
get
got rid of that one.
Becky had her eye on that one. We gotta get rid of that.
Why did you guys buy that? I mean, was that like a, we teased you about that being a midlife crisis.
No, that wasn't.
No,
We
we
were
got a good
going,
deal. This friend of ours, he'd buy cars and refurbish them.
he worked for like a wrecking place, and so we put cars together.
Like
And
restored salvage.
yeah. And so
We
we
bought
got a
two of them from him.
couple of cars from him.
Yeah, I remember, somehow,
Murphy, station wagon we got from him, too. Not Murphy, but our Ford.
I vaguely remember taking that thing out with you in the car and spinning and squealing out.
I remember you. Dad, can I drive it? Well, sure. Oh my God.
But with Becky she wanted that thing in the worst way when she could drive.
Well,
And
that.
she could, so when it got close to time, we had to get rid of it because there was no way we were letting her loose on that one.
Never got that little
Car.
Boston truck.
The car I remember that I really liked was that powder blue coupe.
Or the little Ford,
Yeah, that was a cute car. I wish we'd kept
three
that.
window.
I wish if we had kept some of those cars, because the car that
Oh,
we were
they're all-
driving when we first got married was a little Model A. And if we'd have that now,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You
we
can't
could
keep
just-
all your cars.
I know, but it would have been so fun.
You're trying.
That little Tempest, I remember working on that and replaced the transmission. They had that little, that little bubble thing that would make it shake. It was very
Tempest.
different. Pontiac Tempest, silver, it was goldish. And I remember replacing the transmission on that one. I went down and got the transmission, put that in there. I about crushed my chest putting it up in there.
Wayne destroyed our international. We took out every mailbox in town here.
One mailbox.
On Washington Drive.
How the
How?
story grows.
How'd that go? How'd
What
that go?
happened?
He wiped out a mailbox.
I didn't take the corner back when I took that out.
Then he backed into the garage and with the back window open. That didn't help.
No, that's a mistake.
Well, that was a car that's one we all didn't get killed in it because of
I
steering.
remember that.
We were on the
Yeah.
freeway and all of a sudden
Really?
way up on the freeway
Yeah.
back down.
I remember that clearly.
Yeah,
Going to the beach or something.
yeah, we
Yeah.
were going to the beach.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
scary.
that was scared me.
Because it had a
to
loose,
Yeah.
lot, too much play in the steering
Yeah.
wheel.
So that was,
That was
Traffic
scary.
everywhere and,
we were blessed.
death. That was a miracle. Because all of a sudden it goes completely out of control. Goes clear across, when we were driving down here, and then it went clear across this lane, turned and went back this way across. And we didn't hit a soul.
everybody,
And it was one of those days, you know, when everybody's going to the beach.
Yeah.
traffic
That
stop
was
and go.
so, I thought for sure we were dead.
Have you seen miracles in your life that way?
No, little miracles seem to happen along the way, and you just don't realize they're a miracle until later on.
Yeah, we're just not really long when we took our car in to be serviced. We had to get a rental car for one day. And taking the rental car back, this stupid guy, we're going on the freeway.
Yeah.
This guy turned right in front of me and I don't know how I kept from hitting him, but I just
That's
made
scary.
it. I mean, that, just for renting it for one day, that would have set us back on, a lot.
Oh, we had, it was one not too long ago, when we were going to temple in the morning, and it was
Well,
in July, the brightest morning light at 5 o'clock, 5:30. You could see everything. Everybody could see everything. And all of a sudden, here's these two cars, and this one car swerved around us, and they'd come. We just missed him about this much. Come this way and went out into the field. And there was another car right beside him, and I thought, what are they doing? Why are these guys two cars? I mean, you could see us. We were driving. I mean, this is just last July. And then I got to talking to Mark. Larson. He says, oh yeah, they drag down there all the time. So they had been driving, but why on earth they couldn't stop when they saw that we were ahead of them?
Wow.
But that guy went and his car went into the fence and bounced and then went off into the field and, oh my gosh, that was scary. We knew that.
I wasn't driving.
We
I was
never,
driving.
we never had, thinking of other things, we never really had, Wayne's had a couple of close calls with death, turning
You've
a
had
car
some bad
over.
accidents.
But
Whatever.
other than the few things like that, we haven't had any major sicknesses.
We have really
or-
been blessed. As a family, we've really been blessed.
Yeah, we haven't had any major.
I've never broken a bone to this day well, maybe a rib here and there, but you don't know for sure.
I did when I was a baby. I fell out of the freeway.
Oh,
Oh my
Tell
gosh.
us the story.
That was interesting. You were spinning on.
I don't really know the story, but I just know that I broke my collarbone or something. on
Yeah,
there.
he did. He
The
went up.
doctor missed him when he first took him to you. Then he still acted up, so I took him back. And yeah, collarbone is broke.
You acted up.
Not me.
Can't you just take it, suck it up?
But I was.
Hey, well, why-
So
how
what
did-
happened? How'd
You
that
didn't-
happen?
You didn't have seat belts, right, or something, you didn't have anything
Well,
like
the
that?
back door opens this way as you're driving.
Like a
Suicide.
suicide door.
Yeah, suicide.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
We just drug him right out, and he's spinning on his head. I look in the mirror.
How,
Oh dear.
how
sorry.
fast were you going?
So horns are honking. I wasn't going too fast, but just normal. I was on a
30.
highway.
And he goes,
30,
he turns
40.
to me and he
I
says,
was going 40
you
to 50
stay
miles
in
an
the
hour.
car.
Yeah,
I said, no, you stay in the car.
I can see her
So
going,
mad.
getting killed out on the freeway.
He would not let me go get my baby. And I just think that was terrible. Even to this day, I think that's
Yeah, she
terrible.
reminds me now. No,
So how'd you get them? Yeah, somebody had to go back and get them.
Dad
I
went
did.
back.
My dad went back and got him. I'm not gonna have a screaming, hysterical woman out here.
I wasn't that bad. I just thought it was better that she not.
Well, that'd make me hysterical. Definitely.
I was so furious. I got over being scared because I was so furious with him for being that way.
Yeah.
He didn't even let me go get him.
Well, you know, again,
That's
that
my
whole,
baby.
that happens so fast.
You
and
have to
you're
give people a
both
break
scared.
on that.
Yeah, you gotta give somebody a break, because you both were freaking out, I would imagine.
That would have
No.
been so
How do you
scary.
react?
I'm not giving him a break.
She won't forgive me forever. Come on, things she don't forgive
That
me
was
for.
so, I was so mad.
I even buy her See's candy for Christmas. You still don't forgive me.
You used to love, I know See's candy was your,
Oh, I loved
Your-
it.
Your weak spot.
your weak
Yeah.
spot.
I could
It's
eat,
so-
I could eat
it's so
for breakfast on
expensive
Christmas
anymore.
morning, I could eat at least a pound. I don't think I could do it
Hey, I
now,
keep
but
forgetting to bring you up some See's candy. I have some See's candy that I keep wanting to bring up, but I forget it.
Tomorrow.
I'll bring it up tomorrow.
Where'd you get See's candy?
We've got a guy in our ward that,
You're getting fired.
I'm getting off the subject, but he gets irregulars.
Yeah, I remember we went there one time. You
Wayne had
us
some.
No, that was Buddy's house.
No,
Wayne-
Wayne had some See's candy too. Didn't you that one
No,
time
That
you
was
brought it
Buddy.
home from the store?
I do,
Oh,
I
probably,
definitely have
'cause
an
I
accent.
there was one of my suppliers always would give me a See's candy.
Yeah. You had a ton of it, but you have a,
He goes down there and buys it by the truckload and brings it back up and he puts it in all the bishoprics. You know, keeps them fully supplied. He's been doing that for years.
oh God,
These big old 3-pound boxes. They're only like one kind in the entire box.
Yeah.
Because it's that. Unless he gets ambitious and he mixes them up, but I'm off the subject. You guys wanna take a break or?
We're
Well,
doing
it's-
fine.
getting kinda,
You guys
Okay.
gotta go.
All
We're
right,
we're
let's,
messing up your day. Our day don't matter. We just sit all day anyway.
How can you say that?
Okay.
Well, I know my Christmases, I got one toy and that was it when I was a kid. That was fabulous for us. Well, now we've got more, but we're not like other people, you know.
Well, you guys went huge on. Well, talk about your
By the
younger
time-
ones first.
it wasn't that everybody got a whole bunch of stuff, but we had so many kids that by the time everybody got a few things, they were piled.
I might be getting a bright light. Let me see what happens. Your face is half bright up. but no, I think just right about there.
Maybe if you turn off the light up there.
No, it's just that, bright on one side and then dark on the other. I think that's maybe, let's try that.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway.
Now you found out.
And I figured out, finally figured out, because right at first, we put everybody to bed and it was just dull. So we decided to have family night, have a family night and have dinner. And then I decided I didn't want to cook for a whole week. So I'd cook everything up and we'd have a big spread. And
Oh,
then
man, I remember
we
those.
ate leftovers for the whole week.
Did we ever have a spread? You were amazing.
That was very fun. I really liked those.
I remember
those
when I was a
Christmas
kid,
Eves.
when Santa Claus came to my house, my father sang away.
What?
I heard a knock on the door and my father goes to the door and says, "Sorry, Santa, but Buddy's not asleep." I'm asleep, I'm asleep.
That's
My mother got so, she said, "You go get Santa and bring him back. Bud, go to bed."
I still tease my grandkids like that. Anyway,
Oh,
that's sad.
That's
it's
very
sad.
We never had
Poor
anything
little
like that for you
children.
guys. But I
Did
can
you,
remember anyway.
did you guys have big Christmases when you were younger?
No, not me. Sometimes Mom would give me some money and I'd go get my present and wrap it up and put it under the tree. So I'd
One-
have
like
something
one
to
present?
open. Yeah,
That's all we ever got was one print. I used to
Like
get a
what?
I
white
didn't have
tractor.
big things.
A tractor?
That was my favorite toy every year.
I do remember one year when I was a little girl, and I don't even know how old I was. And then we went someplace, and when we come home, the tree was all decorated, and there was all these presents. And that was a wonder, that was one of those wondering Christmas. How did it happen? And that was a fun thing. But usually Mom would just let me go get some clothes that I wanted. She didn't know what to get for me.
Well, is it because you were poor, or was they just played down Christmas much?
We
Smaller
we
Christmas.
did not have a lot of money. Mom was just raising me. She's my grandmother.
Yeah.
See, during the Depression I'm talking about, we had nothing to eat even hardly,
Yeah.
It wasn't just you guys though, it was all your
For
friends.
the whole
too.
neighborhood, everybody was that way. So you didn't miss, so you didn't think any more of it, As a kid, we didn't know what depression was. All I remember, we went and got a big bag of dried apricots one time from somewhere. I don't remember, I remember going with my dad, and a big bag of dried apricots. It was big to me. That's all I remember about the depression.
Well, all your pictures, honestly, I look at your pictures and, there's dirt, you don't have a lot of grass. You guys are shirtless quite often, ragged.
I never wore a shirt.
But it looks like the neighborhood was, pretty humble.
Yeah.
Everybody was in the same boat. A lot of
Everybody
people
was
living in tents. My bedroom was a tent.
That's the one Uncle Jack used to shoot you through?
I used to remember I used to stand up in the bed with the blanket around me and they could shoot me and it wouldn't hurt.
Did you tell them to, or is he just being
No,
mean?
my brother was mean to me. He was always shooting me or hitting me or, "All right, bud, run." And I, with his BB gun. That's why I
That
had
was
nightmares.
bad. He had a few years ago, he was having nightmares.
Still having nightmares about Uncle Jack?
Yeah.
Once in a while.
And it was when he would go to bed. He would go to bed and he'd be yelling and screaming. And I'd go in, I'd try to wake him up, and I was afraid a couple times. He was gonna come out that bed, because he was gonna kill whoever it was. And so we just got talking, and we was talking with Jack.
I wasn't going to kill anybody. I never got that bad.
When you were in there sleeping,
You've had some issues to get over in your life, huh?
he's had some issues to get over.
I remember swinging in and falling on bed, but no guns.
And then when Jack died, we went up to Ruth's. That was the funniest thing. We sat there. Jack or Ruth sitting there and Bud's sitting there, and they're both supposed to speak, and they kept looking at each other, and then Ruth says, "I can't think of anything good to say."
Ruth said that?
Oh, Jack was mean to her. Jack gave
Her
her.
husband?
No.
No,
No,
no.
Ruth, that Ruth, that Ruth.
Aunt Ruth.
There was
His
two
last
Ruths.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not
his
Millie
sister.
Ruth, not Millie Ruth.
Not Millie Ruth.
Yeah, his sister, Ruth. I couldn't think. Kathy was with her. She couldn't believe it.
I was always good to Ruth. She loves me. I remember-
She
I don't
did not.
think, it's not
You gave
always
her-
loved you. You gave her a bad time too.
I gave her a bad
Yes, you
time, but
did.
she's always.
But not
liked
like
me.
Jack. Jack was worse. Jack was like, he gave her, he caused her to have a nervous breakdown, and she was a teenager. But their mother was working all the time, so Ruth would have to take, she was the mother, and she had to get everything all cleaned up. So she cleaned everything up and worked so hard, and then Jack would come in deliberately and trash everything.
So you don't
He just gave her a
particularly
nervous breakdown.
have love lost there.
Oh, well, we got along fine afterward, as a kid, he was just a brute.
Well, he was how many years older, so
He's 4 years older.
strength-wise, he was quite a bit stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we had a good life.
But then why, when you guys got married, we always had humongous Christmases. Was that to make up for,
No, it
Or-
They were
just,
just a normal thing.
just
you know.
wanted to,
You had a mother that always liked, if it was up to me, you would have had nothing. But you had a good mother.
you like the pretty things, the tinsel on the trees and,
yeah, I liked it all to be just like.
Me, I just enjoyed Christmas.
what
I'm
was
a
that?
Scrooge.
Was it the financial pressure that you didn't like?
No, it didn't bother me. I don't care what you spend, but that's just too much to do. All that work for what? It's all over with after 5 minutes and it's gone. You go to all that work.
Oh, I
It
liked
is a lot of work, and it's a lot of pressure. Ask Debbie.
But it
Don't
ends
ask
up-
me, where?
Mothers do it, I
Mothers
think.
do a good portion of it, yeah. Dads go off to work. It was a magic time though in our house, I thought,
Yeah. That's what it was supposed to be. That's what I wanted it to be.
So do we always, so I remember that when I first learned there was about Santa Claus, it was like, you guys let me stay up to help put together the toys.
Mhm.
And Kathy's sitting there looking at me like, does he really know? Does he really? What was that the deal? That's how you kind of introduced the idea of Santa Claus?
Wayne was 11 years old before he learned.
We kept it quiet
he's
for as long as we
slow
could.
I've
The
always been a
oldest
slow
child,
learner.
yeah, the oldest child, you can keep it away from them. But once they know.
Yeah, once they know, then it's, but it makes me really, I don't like it when I hear about people that think, well, the kids have to know this. No, we're not gonna lie to them, so they just destroy
Yeah.
the
So,
image.
so what's your philosophy on that? Because that issue is a hot topic right now in Tristan and Ken's household.
I see what's the difference. It doesn't hurt nothing. You waste your money.
I think let them, I would always say, even when they got older, I would always say Santa Claus. I would always talk about Santa Claus. I figure, what the heck, if they know it, I'm not gonna
We
confirm
always
it.
just, in our life, there was a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
We never thought any differently, never thought about explaining it to you that there wasn't. You learn soon enough.
And you just find it kind
What
of,
difference does
I've
it
been, I've been reading a lot of quotes from prophets that have no problem with the Santa Claus image.
yeah. I never did either. So I just never would admit to any of you that there wasn't a Santa Claus.
My thought was Santa
People
Claus
when
would
you
tell
got
me,
big.
when you give in secret, that's Santa Claus. And then expect
Yeah,
It
that's right.
does, yeah, that's a good way to explain it too.
And the kids didn't get it,
And so I don't see why people have a problem with that. I don't see why Ken and Tristan have a problem. Just go on, let the kids find out. I mean, they're not gonna believe it when they get to be 20 and 25.
Probably not.
So did you build it up in stories? What would our family nights like around Christmas time? Did you tell the stories of?
Told the
Christmas,
stories
like
because
Santa
there
Claus
was, Helen Bailey used to sell, I can't forget what she was selling, or I forget what she was selling. But she also, at Christmas time, this person, you know, the little shiny star, little book,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
and that little,
I'm
all of
her phone
those, they
ringing.
were the cutest pictures on
Who's
those
ringing?
stories. So
Honey.
every year I would buy the story. I would always buy the book so that we could read the book.
You made us a copy of that book.
Yeah,
I tried to make a copy, but it's
The little
still
angel.
you did. You-
Polishing the
uh-huh.
story.
The shiniest star.
Yeah.
shiniest star.
Uh-huh.
But there were several. There was Davy's First Christmas, and
That one we listened to when I was a kid. They were classics.
yeah, they were, and they were so cute.
Kathy still uses them.
And Kathy has her little stack of stories that she has,
For the kids.
that she keeps separate for Christmas Eve.
So did you like Christmas though? You didn't like it, but you was.
Oh, I
Oh,
like
I
it,
love
but
Christmas.
I'm just lazy.
Well, the thing with you was taking the video. That was the time that we take so much video. Still looking back through your videos, and most every Christmas.
Well, I used to like
Yeah,
to
he'd
take
always
pictures.
take the pictures.
Did we used to get up
And
early?
now the cameras are so simple now, and I don't
Yeah.
even have a camera.
Oh, yes.
So so it's explained to what
I
Christmas
can
morning was.
remember one Christmas, I don't remember which one, but I remember one, we had just gotten to bed, and about half an hour later, Wayne comes in. Let's go open presents. Go back to bed. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. No, not getting up.
I remember sitting in my bed and all of a sudden I feel these little things falling on my face. It'd be like Kathy and Wayne throwing little things to wake me up. Everybody had to be awake first before it was allowed.
Jim Cady had the right idea.
I love his idea.
He used to take and put tape paper on any door going to where the family room. So any kids, they have to break that paper to get through and they know about it. That's a lot of work. I don't get that involved.
So what time would we normally get up?
4 o'clock.
Would
Yes.
we get up at 4? And
Yes.
you'd let us get up?
Well, how
Yeah,
can we
but
stop
not
you?
at 3.
Wayne's, when their family used to get up at 4. Just call us at 4 o'clock. You coming up for Christmas? Yeah, we'll be there in a little while.
But that worked out because we were, by that time, we were visiting, so we could start at Wayne's house that early. Get him out of bed, because he deserved it.
I remember these.
And then start going around everybody's house. So,
Then Buddy moved away out of town. Now it's so hard to get to your house. Oh, that's scary yesterday. Did you get my message I could give you?
Yeah.
What did you guys do, go to a movie like we left or something?
No, we were
No.
on the phone with our families.
Well, the phone rang.
well, yeah, but they were already
You
on
could leave a
the phone.
message when
On
we're
different
on the
phones.
phone. Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, I thought,
We
someone
got home all
here.
right. It was all right.
We got home in time for the Lone Ranger.
What was your favorite Christmas memories? Your favorite Christmases that we had, or
I don't know, they all
They were all
together.
good.
what would we do Christmas Day then?
Play with your toys or go things, and that was New Year's Eve, or New Year's was the time Dad used to take you up the mountains. Most of the time, it was New Year's,
To the snow,
to the snow. Well,
if there was any.
yeah,
We used to
Or
go-
the bikes going down the
yeah,
road.
we had the bikes
The
and
bikes
stuff.
going down that trail,
Yeah,
that was
a fire road.
Those were New Year's?
those were usually New Year's Day.
Oh, is that right? I do remember going to the Tolmans on several times.
Yeah, we just did whatever. Usually I was sick on Christmas because I worked myself to death. The one Christmas that I made doll clothes for Kathy, Barbie doll clothes.
You made them all.
I'd be up, and couldn't do anything while you guys were awake, so I'd have to get them out as soon as you went to bed. Oh my gosh, I'd come down with the flu on Christmas. Then, oh, and also Christmas, you guys, Dad would take you down and go down to LA and see Grandma.
Oh.
Then I usually went to bed.
Thanksgiving was.
I was
that way.
sick. I was always sick on Christmas Day.
Your grandma had a party on
No, just everybody
Thanksgiving
used to
and
come.
Christmas, or
Yeah, but just everybody used to go down there.
just show up?
Mhm. So she'd have food and everything for everybody. But a lot of Christmases I couldn't go down,
Yeah.
and really I loved it. there was one year, there was a strep infection. I would get better, and every 3 weeks I'd come down with strep again. And I thought, and I'd lay there, and I'd have to cancel Cub Scouts, and I'd have to cancel everything because I was too sick. I think, I like this.
Get some rest on you.
Oh, it was just so peaceful, and I just didn't have to do anything because I was too sick to do it. It was
Okay,
great.
holidays you pretty much enjoyed. You loved Halloween. You loved
Yeah, we did all this
Christmas.
stuff.
Halloween.
She don't like Halloween now, though.
I got out of that when I was going with Todd to school. Oh my gosh, we had Halloween so long. It was always Halloween. Then then everybody come dressed in their Halloween costumes, and we'd walk from the school down to the post office and back. That was the parade. And it was always hot. Always hot. And they were also on such a sugar high that I thought, never again.
All in all, you've been a good family. We appreciate you kids.
We
know
did have fun,
We
though.
hope the Lord's working on Terry. I just get that feeling. He is. I hope so. And Wendy seems to be coming along.
Well, right now she is, but
She's struggling, but I think she's coming along. We do appreciate our family. We've got a good family.
What's been the hardest issue you've had to deal with in your kids? Was that appropriate
probably
question?
Terry. Don't put that on there.
I edit that out.
Edit it out.
Just because he's not here. I mean, we
But
miss
he
him.
may see this someday, and I don't want
I mean, no, but we miss him. We don't really know him very well. I don't know him. I haven't seen him for a long, long time.
Terry was such a fun kid to have around.
Uh-huh. I remember that. But we just don't
So
see him.
talented, isn't it? All that talent going
He
to
was
waste.
always singing, dancing, doing stuff.
We just need to get him back here so that we can get to know him better.
Keep inviting him. I've been saving
Well, I
money.
don't think he's that way anymore.
I think he could be. He's got
Well,
that-
Terry and I had him agreeing to come out and visit this year, but he never showed up, so.
I've been saving the money.
But, we've always told him he had a plane ticket, if you ever wanted one, we got it covered, so that's not the problem.
But
That's
he
never
said-
been the issue.
But he's not, you might call him during these holidays. Because he was not, when I called him last week, he was not happy. He was not a happy boy. Because he's taken himself, he's deliberately taken himself, took himself off Facebook. He doesn't have internet. I don't know whether that was because he couldn't afford it or what, but he said he was spending too much time on Facebook. So he just cut himself out of that. And so many people in the family were associating with him on Facebook. Thanks, I guess
Yeah.
Brianna, I think it was Brianna that said, I didn't know him before, but, she just got on there. And so he doesn't have Facebook, he doesn't know anything that's going on in the family.
I wonder if we could set up, we have our Christmas party tomorrow night, if we could do a FaceTime with him.
Yeah, we did that. Remember we did that
You don't
before?
have, you
We
don't
did
have
that last
equipment
year.
now.
We actually did that last
I
year.
mean-
We invited him
He
for-
goes over
maybe
to the
one day.
school, he
He
goes over
don't,
to
he
school
don't
and
have
uses
a
their equipment.
computer
But
anymore.
he said, he told me emphatically, I don't have the internet.
No, he doesn't, but like on our mission, we would tell him when we wanted to talk to him, and he would go to the school and use their equipment.
Yeah.
And
We could invite
we
him.
could FaceTime
But
there.
you might be
Let's
able to
invite
get
him.
to him, but he did
We'll
not want to
We'll
talk
both
to me.
invite him. See if we can get it done.
You have his phone number, we could text him, right?
I got his phone number right here.
Yeah.
Because he just did not want to, because I had to ask him, he knew I was going to, and I had to ask him about that boy that he was gonna
Mhm.
adopt. He got off the phone as quickly as he could. He just sounded bad, it didn't sound good.
I'll send him a text right now, see what happens.
Well,
Anyway,
should we
it's
continue
interesting.
this later?
You guys like to make you a sandwich or something?
Yeah, just gotta get done.
I'm a good sandwich maker.
We're gonna add in reception.